Hi, I'm Sam from Rick Jones Pianos here, and we're with a really lovely Steinway Model L built in 1929 in New York. It's a piano that has been reconditioned in the past by some rebuilder somewhere. They put, some time ago, new strings, new tuning pins, and I believe also new hammers in this piano. We're not sure about the finish. It's definitely not a perfect finish, and we'll have Paul, our website manager, take pictures of this piano thoroughly to demonstrate it's not the best condition of finish. We're not entirely sure whether it's original, because it is pretty good for 1929, but there are definitely some blemishes on the finish, which we've done our best to touch up. It's a walnut finish. We don't see them a whole lot. But for us to have this refinished would would require considerably more time and cost than what we currently have this piano offered for. And I think, at least in my opinion, this is a very good value on the piano this size. Model L is 5'10" and a half inches long. And for a Steinway, I think this is a lot of Steinway for the money, so to speak. So we have it with the finish that's imperfect. If you don't mind, then that's good. If you want a perfect finish, I would definitely recommend a different piano. But we've done our best to polish it up. All the brass is nice and shiny now. And related to that, there is this very nice, but sort of similarly worn bench. This is real leather that is definitely blemished. But this is a adjustable Duet artist bench. Most of these benches of this style are smaller in this lengthwise, but this one is, you could have two people sit at this, and they call it a Duet bench for that reason, and it's extremely heavy. So underneath there, it's a very well built adjustment mechanism. Maybe it's not Jansen, because there's no Jansen label on the bottom. They had competitors that made pretty good benches too, but nevertheless it has the similar sort of weightiness to that type of bench. It's not a Jansen bench, but it's a very good, high quality bench that, if you wish, you could have reupholstered in genuine leather. But the color matched the piano so perfectly, the legs matched the piano so perfectly, we decided to keep the bench with this piano. And of course, if you would like a bench that's in better condition than this, we can provide a new adjustable bench instead of this if you want. But we thought this piano bench, despite its imperfections, matched the piano very well, and it is quite comfortable. So, and it does, of course, adjust up and down using these knobs. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, you can use that if you want. This piano has a really lovely warm sound. It has the Steinway sound. It's warm, especially in the middle region here. The way the Steinways are designed, no matter whether it's from the 1920s or a piano much later, just the way the plate is shaped, the soundboard, the bridges, and the strings, the whole design of that, for the Model L, was consistent all the way from, it was around 1924, I forget exactly the year, up until they stopped making this exact model in sometime in the mid-2000s. Before and after this model in New York, they made the Model O, which is what you can buy new today. The O originally came out in around 1900, and they kept it until the Model L in the mid-1920s, and the way to distinguish it would be the tail of the piano. The Model O has a rounded tail, so a little bit narrower, but the L's have a squared off tail in the back here, so it's a little bit wider. And I usually find that the Model L's are a bit bolder sounding, despite being the same size as the Model O. The Model O has more of a dark sound, very intimate sound, and this is more bold, more tonal projection. So it's definitely a big sounding piano. It's on the mellow side, and I didn't play the bass as much, but it does have a lot of power. So that's the type of sound you won't, in my opinion, find as much with the Model O. Same quality, of course, very similar string design, I think, but just a wider tail and I think a bolder sound. And I'll remind you that you can buy a new Steinway O today in walnut. For what we have this piano priced at, it's at least 4 times less expensive than MSRP on a new Steinway L, which, according to our latest information, probably from, I believe it's from Larry Fine's pianobuyer.com, where all new manufacturers' prices are listed. The new Steinway L in walnut today runs $83,300, and of course, Steinway pianos new have a 5-year warranty, whereas we have a 10-year warranty, all parts and labor. Now, I don't want to diminish anything about the quality of new Steinways. We know they're excellent pianos, because we eventually get them in used, and they're excellently made pianos. But we would challenge you, if you don't mind the finish, if you just want a really good musical instrument, you can play a new Steinway L, and you can play this Model L that we've thoroughly regulated and cleaned up very nicely. We welcome you to see for yourself whether a new one plays and feels over 4 times better than this piano. I think you'll be very impressed with this particular piano. I'm happy with the way it turned out. So, having said all that, I said it has a warm sound. I'll rate it a 4 on a scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. You can get a really dark sound if you need to out of this piano. There's of course a very wide dynamic range, another characteristic in my opinion of Steinways of any size, but definitely a little bit on the mellow side, and I'll rate it a 4. 5 being neutral, 6 and above are bright, definitely on the mellow side. Now the touch is, it has that wonderful 1920s feel. Every time we get a Steinway in from this time period, whether it's been rebuilt just recently, quite some time ago like this piano, or even whether it's all original, the touch, in my opinion, always has a certain feel, like the keys float under your fingers, without being light. It's not a light touch, but it's definitely not a firm touch either. I'll rate the touch 5 on a scale from 1 to 10. It's very responsive, very, if you need to play softly or slowly, you can really feel the resistance, you can feel the mass of all the parts moving inside, but if you need to play very quickly, the keys just float under your fingers. And I know when Paul and I have made videos in the past, we call it the Floaty Touch, and he himself, I believe, is able to testify to that since he owns a Steinway of the same exact year at home, from Rick Jones Pianos, of course. So, something we like to see in these older Steinways, and this one has that feel quite nice. So, 4 for tone, 5 for touch, and this piano, of course, as I mentioned, has a 10-year warranty and a lifetime trade-up guarantee, something you'll never see with any new piano. For the price you pay for this piano, as long as you keep it in tune twice a year and keep it away from extremes of humidity, it doesn't have to be this piano, it could be whatever you pay for whatever piano in our store that we have for offer. As long as you maintain it, as I said, you can upgrade for that price at any point in the future with us, and you get that full value in trade toward any other piano from us at a higher price. Now, it's not like there's a whole lot above a Steinway L that you would want to trade up to, other than maybe a larger Steinway. I tend to notice that people who buy their first Steinway tend to have Steinways for the rest of their lives, usually. So you have that option to us if you wish in the future to maybe have a Model A or a Model B. If we have them in, you're welcome to trade up if you wish. So you have that option with us. So definitely stop by if you can, if you are willing to make it at this time. You're welcome to play this or anything else in our inventory, but if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.